Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative Podcast, the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions from the worlds of TV, pop culture, social media, sports, news, video games, everything really, depending on the guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, me is PD Beats. My guest is an actor and a voice actor, and in terms of the voice acting stuff, her voice is featured in some of the best video games on the planet, including Apex Legends and Overwatch. We are with Anjali Bhimani. Anjali, welcome to Popternative.
Thank you so much. That was like quite the intro. I loved it. And I got to give props to my little guy Charlie here, who's joining us for the for this little conversation.
So cute, so well behaved.
He's really like my number two. You know what I mean? It's like if I'm the CEO, he's the next one. He's the COO.
Oh, absolutely.
Makes all the decisions. Now everyone knows my secret. He
Yeah.
makes.
I was saying it kind of before, you know, you've done so many amazing things and, you know, you've had so many cool projects. So you're kind of a challenging guest for myself because I want to make sure I kind of like, we don't forget anything. You know what I mean?
Well, that's very sweet. I mean, I forget it and I'm living the life. So don't feel like daily basis. I'm like, oh shoot, I have this. I forgot that I have this thing, and I have to get ready for that. Like, it's an enviable state to be in. I call it sexy problems. But quite often, I will find myself, you know, because you're working in so many different media. You're working in film, TV, or theater, or voiceover, or dancing, or singing, or whatever. It's a lot of diversification. I used to call it career ADD, but now I realize it's really just diversifying, like we do with all our.
Absolutely. But so here's my first kind of question, icebreaker, is like whether you're an actor, a voice actor, a writer, a director, a performer, you're a storyteller. That's what you do. You are a storyteller.
Yeah.
So when did Anjali Bhimani? I love saying it like that.
I love It's Anjali. So Anjali again, like it's sort of. In Anjali Bhimani. And apparently if you do the shoulder, it helps too. I don't know why I did that.
When did you decide that storytelling was something you wanted to do?
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, storytelling I've been doing since I was a little kid, like most of us, right? You know, so many children, maybe not all children, but you know, you put on little plays in your house with your family, or you want to share stories and all of that. I remember, writing a play in the first grade that we did in class. I mean, a play, you know, it was like 5 minutes, but I think I realized that I wanted to do it I didn't even realize you could do it or that it was an option for me. I knew people did, obviously, because I saw that there were movies and professional actors in the world, but I think I realized it was an option for me right around the end of junior high, beginning of high school. Mm-hmm. And that's when I started theater outside of school and community theater and taking voice lessons and all of that. So my first way into acting was theater, and it still remains my first love and my first language, if you will.
Absolutely.
First storytelling language. But I wrote a lot too when I was a kid, wrote a lot of stories and stuff. And then I went to Northwestern, and there are so many beautiful things about the theater program at Northwestern, but one of them is that people do there's a lot of focus on adaptation of literature.
Yeah.
Again, the storytelling in the theater is very special, and the theater that I ended up doing, I began working with an incredible director named Mary Zimmerman right off the bat, and with her and the Looking Glass Theater Company out there, and it was all adaptations of these beautiful texts. I moved to Broadway with a show with her, stayed in New York for a long time, and then in New York is when I started doing television.
Yeah.
With like Law and Order SVU and The Sopranos and other things out there. And then I started going back and forth between New York and LA so that I could do movies and TV in LA and theater in New York and back and forth. And then I just kind of, any chance I got to tell a story in a different medium, I said yes. Yeah. You know, I was very lucky to be asked to do an opera, so I did that, and there's dance, and there's, you know, whatever whatever they will let me do, basically. More often than not, it's not me being like, yeah, of course I can do that. It's like, you're going to let me. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm in.
for
Thank
sure.
you for giving me the chance to tell stories this way. And what's been really wonderful in the last few years, and this comes full circle to what you were talking about the games, is that um, as video games and tabletop gaming too, with RPGs, with D&D and with Critical Role blowing up and all of that. Now games have become such a predominant form of storytelling in the world as well.
Oh yeah.
Gamer since I was a little girl. I started playing D&D when I was 8. So I to be able to come full circle and be back in this world and have it be part of my performing life is just like blessing upon blessing upon blessing. Plus the communities surrounding games.
It's amazing. And like my question now obviously is just like, and this is kind of like a kind of cue for you to kind of talk a little bit about it, but like, has it sunk in that you provide voices of characters in some of the biggest video games on the planet?
I mean, okay, so this is how I look at it. I mean, the short version is yes, and I am incredibly grateful for it and humbled by it on a daily basis. And I take the responsibility very seriously because it means that we those of us who get to have that kind of life are in so many people's homes. And there is a responsibility to use your voice, not just your voice, but your broader voice, I feel like, for the common good.
Yeah.
And so I love that. It's sunk in an incredible way. I mean, conventions were when we were still doing right now, they're just some of my favorite things in the world to do, to be able to talk to people and hear what they're into and encourage them to do the things that they might not necessarily feel like they can do. Because I'm here to tell you, you absolutely can. Believe me, I had plenty of things I think I could do. And it's not because I am it's not just talent. It's just your uniqueness that makes it possible for you to do things. So that's a long answer to the sort of a segue, but I feel like with every major success that I've had, whether it was going to Broadway before I even thought Broadway was an option, or starting to do television shows or whatever, with every single one, yes, the awareness that it is a huge success is always there, but there is also the humility of knowing that you are a cog in a wheel, in a sense. You are not a cog in a wheel, because that sounds really minimizing, but that you are one of many people coming together to make this thing happen. Again, that's a beautiful thing about coming from the theater, is you realize like everybody's running around trying to make it happen and making the costumes and running the lights, and like we're all doing this together. And even if an actor is the face or the voice of a character, so many other things came together and so many other people put their hearts and souls into it that you can't take credit for the whole thing.
But credit also to the people that actually buy the games as well, because if they didn't buy the games...
The thing, like especially with Overwatch, because Overwatch, I joined Overwatch at the beginning, and Apex I've come into a little bit later and same with Fallout came into, later. But I knew Overwatch was going to be special because Blizzard did it, and Blizzard doesn't do things.
Blizzard is,
they're very, 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 very good at what they do. But the community and the way that people took that ball and ran with it, and the amount of generosity of spirit and artistry that came back, the love for the characters and the story and the gameplay, all of it that came back, like that is beyond anything that I ever expected to have happen around any project that I did. And again, it's very humbling because you realize none of us can do this alone.
No.
You can't do theater without an audience. You can't do TV without people watching at home, and you can't do games without people who are playing it and really providing that feedback. There's always going to be some kind of a relationship between those of us telling the story and the people taking in the story. And the great thing about games is that the players get to tell the story too.
Exactly. They're part of the story.
It's why I love role-playing games so much, because that's just long-form improv.
Yeah, no, for sure.
we're all up there making the story as it comes.
Well, I'm gonna give you an opportunity now to maybe do a little bit of improv. So this is a segment I do sometimes on my show with people that are voice actors and they have a good time. So this is a segment, and it's kind of provides, if you're cool with it, provides an opportunity for people to kind of to realize and get to know which amazing voices you actually do.
Okay.
So basically what it is I'm going to say a word, and then you are going to say, hi, this is so-and-so from so-and-so in the voice, and then comment about the thing. So for example, in the past, I've had, people from say from My Hero Academia. I said pizza, and they would be like, hi, I'm so-and-so from My Hero Academia. I enjoy pizza, like in the voice. So it's a little bit of a speed round.
Because of the things that I'm allowed to do and not allowed to do in some of these voices, but I will do my best.
Do your best, absolutely. So, So, first one, ice cream.
Ice cream. As who? Anyone?
Anyone. So just like I'm gonna throw out like 3 or 4 different words and make sure you introduce who the person is and what they're from, and then yeah.
Hello, this is, I'm going to do it like this. This is Anjali Bhimani, the voice of Symmetra reporting. Ice cream is such an interesting thing to me. In my reality, it is delicious. It is refreshing. It comes in so many flavors, which cater to so many people. Practical. So you have to choose your battles wisely. If I'm at home making a Hyderabadi lassi, I might use some ice cream to top it off. Really, I can bend reality to my will, so anything goes.
Okay, next one. Exercise.
Well, mates, this is Rampart here. I get my exercise by throwing Sheila around. Sheila, my giant gun. I mean, everybody thinks that I'm too small to carry Sheila, but come on. With these arms, I've got a gun collection under here.
Okay, we'll do one more. Sports.
Sports. All right. Who would be?
The first one was the best, by the way. I can't get over the ice cream. They're gonna, the Overwatch fans are gonna eat that up. I hope you know that, right?
As long as we don't ask about pineapple on pizza, because that is a big divisive point among the Overwatch community. I refuse to weigh in on the grounds that whatever I say, no matter what I say, will incriminate me. I think we might have to go back to Symmetra for sports because I'm very flexible. I don't know if you've seen my Summer Games skin, but when you do the splits while standing up, it's apparently very impressive. Sports are an interesting thing as well. I don't quite understand the appeal to so many people, but if it gets people excited, then I suppose it could be practical. Oh. I don't know if that was... I think we're going to stick with the ice cream one.
No, that was
amazing.
The ice cream one. But kind of going back to what you said about like the video games, and again, you have some really cool movies that are out or coming out. We're going to talk about that. But one more thing about the video games quickly is I'm 29. I feel like I hit a wall when I was about 24, 25, where my idea of a good time now, obviously with the pandemic, I haven't been able to do it, and I miss it so much because it's been like, 7 or 8 months, but like getting together with my friends and playing a board game or playing a video game. That is like my Saturday night, having some good food, having some good drinks, and playing video games. That's like my idea of a good time. It's not going to a bar and dancing. That is a good time. I feel like people don't realize that how big, like you mentioned, the tabletop games and video games, the communal aspect of it, and there is a social aspect of it that I think gets kind of left in the shadows a little bit as well.
I feel like there is a strange stereotype that is placed on gamers. And I know that all stereotypes are based in some reality, but certainly not a sweeping generalization reality. And the stereotype of the antisocial or just, playing games in their basement all day, every day. Like, I feel like that does such a disservice to not only gamers, but to the entire structure of gaming now. because it has become more and more social. We all know that board games you can play at a party, but now people are playing video games at a party, and now people are doing it online in all separate places, and meeting friends, and meeting people are getting married through games, meeting like that. So it is a very cool way to meet people. It is a very cool way to connect with people. It's a very fun way to spend time with people where you don't have to go out and drink, and you don't have, because I've never been, I mean, I was too old to go clubbing when I was 21. I was just never, it was never my thing. Live music, yes, totally into it, but going somewhere where I can't.
But you know where I'm coming from, though, right? With the
be able to have that engagement with people.
Yeah.
And going to a movie provides that, or going, hanging out with.
I miss going to the movies.
But we all do that at home, and frankly, I do watch parties sometimes with loved ones, and with my sweetheart. We do watch parties if we're in a separate place. We'll do watch parties where we press play at the same time, even though we're in different places, and we've got our little gadgets on FaceTime, and we're watching the movie together.
But like, it blows your mind when you think of like,
what's happening down here.
Oh, he's so cute.
Deal with this? Can we? I don't know if I can deal with this right now.
So cute. I have a little Morky upstairs too. Leo. I have a dog too, Leo. He's 5 pounds, but he acts like he's like a lot bigger than that.
That sounds like me. I'm 5'12", but I act like I'm 5'9".
But it's like video game streaming essentially is literally people playing Overwatch and people watching people play Overwatch. Like, that's what it is.
One thing that I haven't gotten into watching, but I know that there is a tremendous appeal, obviously, because streaming is out there, and esports, and that is such a huge.
Overwatch is like, you have to understand that, like you mentioned Blizzard and everything, but I remember the thing about Overwatch, and like Fortnite too, like Fortnite exploded, but Overwatch, I feel like, hit the conventions really quick. Like, it came out, and then all of a sudden I saw all these posts of people like Overwatch conventions, and were like guests from Overwatch. Like, I feel like it just like hit stride with the audience right away.
And we're a pretty tight cast, despite the fact that there are so many of us. Part of that I attribute to Blizzard being so cool as to have us have a cast party after the first year. Mm-hmm. The BlizzCon, the first year the game came out, they had a big cast party, and Johnny Cruz, who plays Lucio, put up a video of all the voice actors who were there, and so there was this engagement with the cast that wasn't necessarily something that we would experience in previous voice acting situations, and we were engaged with each other. And now, one of my best friends in the world is Carolina Rabasa, who plays Sombra, and it's thanks to the game that we know each other.
She was supposed to come on the show. She was supposed to come on the show like a long time ago, and it was just one of those things where like, yeah, I'll do it when it works for you, and it's like our schedules were just completely opposite. So
again, this happened thanks to Mia, but I know that we are sometimes it's when the time is right, and she has a fun project coming up too. So you definitely want to talk to her about that.
It's gonna happen regardless. But like, I remember like when I was telling people that there was a possibility of like having her on my show, like when I tell people I had you on my show, people are gonna like lose their minds. How does that make you feel sometimes when you think about that?
It's just it's I can't even tell you how wonderful it is, how much it means. And in my mind, the first thing that comes up is like, oh, you guys, I'm just like, I'm not all that. But I understand that there is the attachment to these beautiful characters that have been created, and these stories in this game, and that goes for any of the projects that I get to be a part of. Again, I know I am a part of something bigger than me.
Yeah.
So that I just get excited that people are actually enjoying the thing that gives me so much joy.
For sure. Video games kind of took over this, and I apologize, but I do want to talk a little bit about some of the movies that you've been working on, if we could do that.
Despite the fact that the games are so big, my main career is television and film.
Does that happen a lot though? Like that, the video game? Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely, and understandably so, because both Overwatch and Apex are rather big deals in the world. Uh, but yeah, so my main life job, I mean, I guess you could call it my day job, is acting on television and film, and I love it. I love every minute of it.
Absolutely. So I meant you have a movie that just came out, and you have some other movies that might be coming out as well.
Sorry about that. You know who that was? That's so funny because that was Jennifer Hale, who plays Ash in Overwatch, just calling me. Um,
So yeah, you have a movie that just came out, and you have some other movies. Can you talk a little bit about some of the movies that we could check out?
just came out. I'm super excited about it. And I actually shot both of these movies at the same time, so it's exciting that they came out at the same time or coming out around the same time. The movie that just came out is a movie that was co-produced between Blumhouse and Priyanka Chopra, and it's called Evil Eye. And it is a psychological thriller with an all South Asian lead cast and team as well. My friend Madhuri Shekhar, who's an incredible playwright. This is her first screenplay, and I'm so thrilled that the movie has been such a hit with people who have seen it. And I play this kind of comic relief, wonderful auntie named Radhika.
That happens a lot in these horror, like sci-fi and thriller movies, like those genres I just mentioned. Like you need that comic relief. It's like a prerequisite almost.
Absolutely do. And it was such a joy, and it worked out timing wise too, because I was shooting this other movie at the time in the same city, and so everything just worked out perfectly. But Evil Eye, it's a really special movie because also for so many reasons, not just because it's a good movie and the cast is incredible. Sarita Chaudhary plays the lead, and people would know her from Jessica Jones and from Homeland and all that, and Sunita Mani from Glow. It's a great cast. And it's special because you don't really see, or historically we haven't seen, and I think we're going to begin seeing more. We haven't seen a lot of thrillers or horror movies or that genre with Indian people in them, and certainly not an all Indian cast with a story that incorporates some of our culture into this story. So I'm very thrilled to have been a part of it. Our directors, Ilan Dasani and Rajiv Dasani, were phenomenal. Blumhouse did an incredible job of putting this whole series together because it was part of a 4-movie sort of release that they did called Welcome to the Blumhouse. So I'm so excited. You can watch it on Amazon Prime Video. I've been enjoying every minute of getting people hitting me back and saying how much they loved it. So, and it's a great scary movie for people who can't do scary movies. So if you're the person who's like, I don't do scary movies, you can still give this one a chance because it's actually, like I said, it's more of a psychological thriller, which is really cool. And I dig that genre even more.
Is it blowing your mind though, how incredible the horror movie genre has become though in the last couple of years? Like it's insane.
It's blowing my mind how incredible everything has become in the arts. You know, I think about how much television has grown over the last 5-10 years, and how it's become this incredible form of storytelling. Whereas before, a lot of people would scoff at it for that purpose, and now some of the deepest, most intricate stories and characters are coming out that way. And so, yeah, I mean, I feel like everything is getting better and better. The bar is getting high.
Oh, absolutely. Anjali, thank you so much for coming on Popternative. Oh.
What about the other movie?
Yes. Sorry. I thought you were going to go back and forth. So sorry about that.
The other movie, which I'm so also excited about, and a completely different 180-degree difference from Evil Eye. The other movie is called All My Life, and it's based on a true story. It's starring Harry Shum Jr. and Jessica Roth, and it's a romantic drama, and very, very dear to my heart, and an incredibly sweet cast. And it just opened in the UK a couple of days ago, and it's going to be opening here in the US in December.
I think there's someone. Name the cast. Like go for the cast, because I know someone who's worked on that.
Harry Shum Jr., Jessica Roth, Jay Farrow. I'm gonna miss someone, and then I'm gonna want to punch myself. Kyle Allen.
Yep, Kyle Allen.
Yeah.
I know some people that know him really well as well. There's circles of like actors that I found out exist.
Crazy talented young man. I say young man like I'm 900 years old, but he's such a crazy talented guy, And the thing that's so fun about one of the things that's so fun about Kyle is that he is just entertaining all the time, not just when you see him on screen, but he's creative when he's walking down the street. You know, he's just there's just something really lovely about that. And that whole cast was just such a incredibly warm and kind and lovely group of people, and we spent a few months down in New Orleans together shooting that, and it was just one of the highlights of my recent years. So I'm really, really grateful for that. So keep an eye out for that, guys, because that's going to be coming too. If you're not feeling the psychological thriller, we've got a romantic love story on the other side. Both of those are there.
Absolutely. Well, Anjali, thank you so much for coming on Popternative. I really enjoyed chatting with you.
And look, we've tired him out.
He got bored of our conversation.
Hard for him, so he break.
And where could people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
Find me all over the interwebs at Sweet Anj. So like something is sweet to eat, but with 3 E's, because I apparently, when I thought of my handle, didn't care about spelling. And now nobody can find it. But it's Sweet Anj, SWEEETANJ, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, where you can find my YouTube series, which is called I Am Fun Size. And then on the Facebook, you can find me at my name, Anjali Bhimani. I have a fan page there. And yeah, that's where you can come up. I'm there I shouldn't say I'm there all the time, but I'm very accessible and would love to hear from people.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was fun.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Anjali Bhimani and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.